how well do you know your dark side? In this video, I'm going to share with you how to do shadow work for beginners. You will get my favorite journaling prompts and exercises and learn how to integrate your shadow. Now, before we get into my beginner's guide on how to do shadow work, I want to talk about where the term shadow self actually comes from. It was coined by one of the most prominent psychiatrists and psychoanalysts of all time, Carl Jung. According to Jung, the shadow self is an archetype that forms part of the unconscious mind and is composed of repressed ideas, instincts, impulses, weaknesses, desires, and fears. In other words, your shadow self is the dark part of yourself that you don't really want to admit exists and you don't really want to associate yourself with. One of the easiest exercises you can try is to pay attention to the things you dislike in others. They will show you what you're having trouble accepting in yourself so that you can find a way to integrate it better. For example, when you criticize someone, you need to pay close attention to the things that you're criticizing them for. By becoming aware of that part of you that feels shameful, bad, or wrong, it will no longer hold its power over you. I've created a free shadow work journaling worksheet that you can find in the description box right below this video, or head over to coachsimona.com/shadow. Now let's go back to doing shadow work for beginners. The first step towards shedding light on your shadow self is to ask yourself the following question. What do I gain by criticizing this person? When you realize why you're criticizing someone, you will get to know yourself better and catch yourself next time you're about to do it. When you think about it, criticism is just a chain of thoughts aimed at the other person. What you need to do next is realize what part of you you're trying to suppress or deny when you're focusing all of your negative attention on the other person. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say you think your friend's bag is ugly. So you think in your mind, I can't believe she bought this awful bag. It completely ruins her entire outfit. Now let's dissect this sentence. By criticizing your friend for her bag, even if you're just doing it in your mind, you're actually trying to make yourself feel better. If your friend has an ugly bag that ruins her outfit, that must mean that you have better fashion sense than her or that you know more about styling. Here are some journaling prompts to help you dig deeper. How does that make you feel? Probably significant, powerful, knowledgeable, better than. Now, let's go a layer deeper. What is the opposite of the feeling you're trying to evoke in yourself by criticizing her? Well, the opposite of better than is actually not good enough. So try to think about all the critical things you say to yourself in your mind. In what areas do you feel like you're not good enough? Are you afraid of getting embarrassed? Or maybe sometimes obsess over your self-image? Journal using the prompts I just shared with you. Now, my second tip on how to get to know your shadow self is to become aware of your inner critic. Here's one of my favorite quotes by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Now, if you think you're not critical of yourself, but you only judge others, that's a clear sign that you're not aware of your inner monologue. Let's call it the inner critic. Your inner critic is always there, watching, lurking in the background, narrating, and saying the mean things that you used to hear growing up. It's so ingrained in your psyche that you don't even have to think about it. It's always there. It's the internalized voice of a parent, teacher, or primary caretaker who criticized you growing up. It's not you. For example, if you have impulsively high standards for yourself, you might have thoughts like, I need to do more, be more, achieve more. Otherwise, I don't deserve to be loved. Your inner critic might pop up when you're about to do something big or scary. The thing is, what your inner critic says has nothing to do with reality. It's outdated, intrusive, annoying, and frankly, not true. So how can you become more aware of your inner critic so that you can take its power away? By paying attention to your negative thoughts without engaging with them. Next time you have a negative thought such as, I'm not good enough, I want you to question its validity. Here are some shadow work prompts that will help you dig deeper. 1. Have I experienced judgment or criticism as a child? 2. Did someone tell me frequently that I was wrong or bad? 3. Did I get punished for doing what I thought was right? 4. Were my views of the world different from those of other people? 5. Did I suppress my needs to meet someone else's needs instead? Which actually leads me to the next tip, which is to put yourself in someone else's shoes. When we're being critical of others, it often has something to do with not being able to understand their position or behavior. If you truly want to accept yourself, you need to start asking yourself some introspective questions, such as 1. Why are they doing what they're doing? 2. What is their true motive? 3. What could be the underlying reason that I don't know about or can't see? While we often assume or speculate and rarely get to the real reason why people behave the way they do, it can still be beneficial to try to put ourselves in their shoes. What you're also going to notice is that some thoughts and beliefs might be holding you back. For example, if it bothers you that someone is too slow and takes too long to finish a task, you can dig deeper by realizing that you're probably being too hard on yourself when it comes to efficiency and time management. Are you too critical of yourself when you take a break? Do you allow yourself to relax and enjoy life before rushing on to the next task? Has anyone told you growing up that you're not doing enough or you need to hurry up? Journal using these prompts and let's move on to the next part, which is to accept your shadow self. As counterintuitive as it may seem, the only way to deal with your own darkness is to accept it. Resistance only grows it stronger over time. By suppressing your thoughts, desires, and fears, you create a shallow self that you present to the world, which is not entirely you. You create a better version of yourself that you really can't keep up with. Carl Jung calls it your persona. It's derived from the Latin persona, referring to the masks worn by Etruscan mimes. Your persona is the social face you present to the world. It's kind of a mask designed to make a definite impression upon others and conceal the true nature of the individual. If you focus only on feeding your persona, you will inevitably fail. This will happen because you can't develop only the presentable part of yourself. You have to accept both sides of the coin. So how can you do that? By acknowledging the dark parts of yourself and opening the doors to your deepest fears and negative experiences. That's the only way to set yourself free from repression. If you want to truly love yourself, you have to accept your shadow. You can't love the parts of yourself that you find suitable and discard the ones that you wouldn't want to be associated with. Now I want to share with you a shadow work exercise that might stir uncomfortable feelings, so I recommend doing it at home, preferably alone, when you can dedicate at least 10 minutes to yourself. For many of us, looking in the mirror can feel awkward, unpleasant, or we might avoid it altogether because there are some things we find difficult to accept. Now, I want you to stand in front of a mirror and take a good look at yourself. Take a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a look at your face, your hair, and your body. Not judging, not trying to change anything, just observing the person who's looking you straight in the eye. What kind thing can you say to yourself? Try to find something, anything that you like. For example, I have warm, kind eyes. My hands are so soft. My hair looks good today. Now, if you feel like it, you can smile or hug yourself. Do only things that feel natural to you. Now, if negative thoughts arise while you're doing the mirror exercise, I want you to do the following. If you notice a negative thought, don't judge it. Try to see where it's coming from. For example, if your negative thought is, who am I kidding? This exercise is so stupid. Of course it's not gonna work. I hate myself. I want you to keep an open mind and not judge yourself for having this thought. What are you trying to avoid? Is there an unpleasant feeling that comes up when you look at yourself in the mirror? Where is this belief coming from? Dig deeper. You can start reframing your thoughts by substituting them with healthier alternatives and finding evidence that contradicts your current belief. For example, if you often say, I hate myself, you can start doing small acts of self-kindness and self-compassion. By doing that over time, you will have evidence that you don't actually hate yourself, but maybe you'll find it hard to accept certain parts of yourself. Another technique to accept your shadow self is to make a list of all the things you don't like about your personality and try to reframe them in a positive way. It's all about your perspective. Let me give you an example. I hate myself for getting angry easily and fussing about stupid things can become. I'm temperamental and sensitive, and sometimes I become easily irritated. I accept and love myself as I am. There are lots of ways to accept your dark side. Unfortunately, there is not a universal formula to change the way you perceive yourself. So that brings me to the last part of doing shadow work as a beginner. How do you know if you've succeeded? One of the best ways to tell if you're getting there is to track your daily level of self-awareness. If you experience negative feelings and you're conscious about what provoked them, it is safe to say that you're aware of your dark side and you don't try to hide it anymore. Another sign of it working is that you don't fall into the old negative patterns that often. And even if you do, you know exactly how to get out of them in a shorter period of time than before. The moment you realize that life is neither good nor bad is the moment you're gonna start taking responsibility for your actions and accept yourself. The free shadow work journaling worksheet will help you start the process. If you want to download it, just visit coachsimona.com/shadow. One more important thing to remember is that doing shadow work is directly linked to reconnecting with your true, authentic self. So if you're interested in this topic, make sure to watch this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video.